Stranger Things 5 is coming out. We are hot on the heels of the press tour starting. The interviews are starting. And unfortunately, we got some news about two co-stars, Millie Bobby Brown and David Harbour, having some conflicts on set. So much so that there was a filed harassment claim from Bobby Brown against David Harbour. And so we were wondering, how is this going to affect them selling, season 5, the finale, and what was that going to look like? And so this past week on Thursday, they had the red carpet premiere of the first part of season 5 of Stranger Things. And lo and behold, these actors were all smiles on the carpet.
Yep.
And so we were wondering, okay, what's going on? Like, this is weird because those things came out and then there was this damage control. Like, what's going on? So this comes to us from Variety. They say David Harbour's not having a great month. But attendees at the Los Angeles premiere this past week for the 5th and final season of Stranger Things might not have noticed. Harbour was all smiles on the red carpet, particularly as he playfully hugged co-star Millie Bobby Brown, and they took selfies with fans. The two arrived at the event together and even traded compliments and interviews on the carpet. Brown told Entertainment Tonight that she obviously had a really special bond with David because we have a father and daughter relationship. We do every scene together. It's been so special to have him along the journey for me. When Harbour spoke with ET, the only outlet he granted an interview with, he said of Brown, "I adore her. I've been proud to watch all of them grow up and become such great artists. This particular project is so special, and we've gotten to know each other so deeply." If the two seemed overly chummy on Thursday, perhaps that was the point. The premiere event came just days after the UK's Daily Mail report that Brown had filed a complaint of bullying and harassment against Harbour prior to the start of production of season 5. So this actually happened before they started filming season 5. Neither star commented on the story. Harbour limited his interactions with the press at the premiere. The news of Brown's complaint against Harbour has threatened to overshadow coverage of the final season of Stranger Things. But insiders say that even before recent news, Harbour wasn't expected to take part in press junkets for the show due to his busy filming schedule regardless. His upcoming film projects next year include HBO's DTF St. Louis with Jason Bateman and Linda Cardellini, and of course Avengers Doomsday opening in December 2026. PR experts suggest to Variety that the red carpet choreography, they're calling, as well as the full cast appearance together on stage at the TCL Chinese Theater prior to screening episode 1, was meant to send a message that the cast is united and that the show is bigger than any one person. The goal in these situations is to make it no worse, one crisis PR exec said. Instead, Netflix leaned into the imagery of Harbour and Brown being playful on the carpet, posting a video of the two as they greeted fans. Brown's fashion brand, Florence by Mills, liked the video and all this happy stuff. So, and then we have, obviously the Duffer brothers saying, we've been doing this for 10 years. We're like family. Like those are wildly inaccurate reports. We're happy that our set is somewhere everyone can feel safe and happy. So it seems like damage control was in full effect on the red carpet. I want to ask you, how do you feel about the reports that came out earlier in the week and then the images and the happy, content, loving family of a cast on the red carpet this past Thursday?
It's interesting because there's been negative news about David Harbour when it comes to his ex-wife and things going on with that, and people feel like, hey, Lucas, it feels like people are like on a downturn on David Harbour, where one moment it felt like he was like this beloved, lovable guy who's gruffy in movies and people really love seeing him.
Right.
Now it seems like people are kind of like turning on because of some of the reports that happened with his ex-wife. And it feels like this report now coming out right when they're about to make this premiere, literally like maybe a couple days or a week before, feels like people are digging up something to kind of just make things worse for him and trying to continue that momentum to make him look bad, possibly get him off the red carpet or any press junkets
Right.
to dim his star. I do think that's there. But on the other hand, I do think there is a possibility that there was an altercation between him and Millie Bobby Brown. That stuff like this happens on movie sets, right? We've
Yeah.
learned that there was an altercation on the Doomsday set between two actors. We don't know who between who and what happened. We don't know the extent. I think what the problem was is because of what happened with his ex-wife and then Millie Bobby Brown being a young woman. I think that's where people were like, what everything goes
Yeah.
towards the worst. Um,
Yeah. Do you
and
believe that his ex-wife maybe had anything to do with these reports coming out?
that I don't want to put on her because I'm
Speculate.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but
that's true. But it's kind of happened around the same
same
time
time,
with
yeah,
her
it's
album
lining
coming
up.
out with lyrics directly at David Harbour for how he treated her during the
Yeah,
relationship from her point of view. It seems like kind of simpatico with both these stories coming out around the same time.
bit of like a hit piece situation. So
And that happens.
it happens. So I do think we don't know the full extent of what with the altercation with Millie Bobby Brown, based on the fact that she's never publicly said anything bad about him. Um, or it's never felt like there was like a rift between
Yeah.
her and him. And on past red carpets or interactions, they've looked really like fatherly, daughtery, as
Yeah.
well, like the same that they looked here. So it didn't feel performative. But then, like what the Duffer Brothers said, and like all the context, and it's like, yeah, it's PR damage control. It's like do it a little bit more than you normally would because we got to make sure people feel like you guys are great because we do not need Stranger Things 5 getting any bad press because so much is riding
Yeah.
on the show.
Yeah, no, I it's interesting, right? Because we've seen other shows go 10 years, whether it's, Friends, How I Met Your Mother, Modern Family, like it's a big whether, regardless of the seasons, going 10 years with the same cast, you become family and families fight. And was this fight too big where they couldn't work it out on their own? Maybe so.
Yeah,
Was the Daily Mail and other outlets maybe blowing it up more than what it seemed? Yes, they tend to do that a lot of time.
yeah,
I think the fact is something did happen between Millie Bobby Brown and David Harbour. Was it as serious as some people say? Obviously, it's more of like teasing and harassment and not like sexual in any nature, which they made it very clear. But did he pass a line because he is so comfortable with her and his castmates? It's
yeah,
definitely a possibility.
yeah,
But as we can see, Netflix is too big to fail, and they're not going to let something like this derail their biggest show of all time. And so it's interesting. They're lucky they had the red carpet to kind of like have this, damage control performance ready to go. And if it was that big of a deal, they wouldn't have done the red carpet together. No matter, I saw comments like, oh, they're getting paid a lot to do this. And it's like, yeah, they get paid to do press, of course.
yeah,
But we've seen time and time again where they will refuse to do press with that person. And that's
yeah,
that. I don't think, and then if they're ever forced, that's going to come out. It's going to look very badly on the show on Netflix. So, was it bad enough where they can't be in the same room? It doesn't look like that. And it looks like this possibly could just be a case of tablets running with the story, getting it blown way out of proportion. But in the end of the day, the only people that really know are these two up here. So
Can I get my tinfoil hat on real quick? My
yeah,
begonia, I like to
I
call it
would
now.
love, yes, I would love for you to do so.
There has been what seems like a lack of excitement for Stranger Things 5 when it comes to
Mhm.
trailers and press. People aren't jumping at it like they have in previous
Oh,
seasons. So there is a possibility that the PR for Netflix saw what was going on with David Harbour and his ex-wife and the bad press there, and saw how it kind of uplifted his name in the press, and people were kind of looking at the stuff.
dang.
And they could have this is a small incident that did happen on set that had to be reported because it happened on set, and that's why there was a complaint filed, because that happens, right? Like, you might have an issue with a coworker and you don't want to file a complaint, but because it happened during work hours or in front of a manager, you have to.
100%.
They use that, and here, Daily Mail, take that real quick and blow it up. So then now people go see the premiere and look at the photos and start talking about it to
Yeah,
see if they can laugh with each
examining
other.
it.
There's a possibility.
There is a possibility. I just wanted to get into it because originally I had this story ready to go when that stuff came out. And then the red carpet came out. And so I didn't want this segment to be something like, what's the drama? I wanted it to be more of like a discussion of how these things can get twisted, how they can be used to promote or make something bigger. And it's just interesting because this isn't the first time that we've seen controversy kind of boost people's excitement about a project. And you best believe this will not be the last time. And for a lot of people, including, when I asked Lucas, a lot of people haven't even really heard of it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's honestly not even on a lot of people's radar unless you're really like us and you're focused on what's going on in Hollywood. So is it that big of a deal? It doesn't seem like it now. Of course, more can come out and we can get more context and really see what's going on. But as of right now, it doesn't seem like it's so serious that these two hate each other and they can't be in the same room. It
Yeah.
seems like something that was used to maybe promote the show a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. What do you guys think? Do you think that maybe this was blown out of proportion? Do you think that, of course, all harassment claims should be taken seriously? Do you think that there's more to the story that might come out that we don't know about? Drop a comment below and let us know what you guys think.